Welcome in, everybody. Ready for another deep dive?
Absolutely. Excited to see where we go today.
Me too, especially with this set of lyrics. Indie pop ballads.
Lots to unpack there.
Yeah, all about love and loss and longing. Right up this genre's alley. You know, those raw personal experiences set to music.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you feel all the feels.
Yeah,
So we've got a whole collection of new written song lyrics here. Should we just dive right in?
let's do it.
Okay. So glancing through these, I noticed right away, like, there are so many different perspectives on love here. Like, you've got songs like Always Be True, Bound by Love, I Promise You.
Yeah.
All about enduring commitment, right? But then, there's the other side of the coin. Heartbreak, echoes of us, falling like leaves, fleeting breath, definitely capturing that struggle to move on. And then even more, like Forever in My Arms, where the sky meets the soul, winter's embrace, without you. They're all about the power of memory, how it just lingers. And one thing that really struck me is how often these songwriters use nature imagery to, like, set the mood and symbolize those complex emotions. Leaves, the sky, stars, winter. It's like they're painting pictures with words, almost.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just about pretty imagery, though, is it? They're tapping into those universal human experiences, the longing for connection, the pain of loss, the enduring nature of love, stuff we all grapple with.
Definitely. Okay, so let's get into the actual lyrics. The first one that jumped out at me was Always Be True. Feels like that classic male perspective on unwavering love, but I'm curious to dig a little deeper into the meaning. What's behind those words?
Yeah. It is interesting you point that out because, like, on the surface, the lyrics do seem pretty straightforward. From the morning light to the evening glow, you're the rhythm in my heart, and I just want you to know. But I wonder if, considering like the cultural context, this straightforwardness might actually be a deliberate choice, like a way of challenging how men are often expected to be, less emotionally expressive.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
And the song's structure, classic ballad material for sure,
Yeah.
versus building a narrative and then bam, you get that chorus hitting you with the central message, commitment. Let's keep this love alive. Oh, don't let it fade. Through the highs and the lows, girl, we'll find our way.
Powerful stuff.
It really is. Simple but powerful.
Yeah. And the melody reinforces that message, too. Like, notice how the chorus uses a major key and that soaring melody,
Yeah.
conveying optimism, determination.
It's like the music is saying, love can conquer anything. Yeah. And that bridge, oh, man, I don't care what they say, what they do, ain't no mountain high enough to keep me from you. So defiant. So passionate.
For sure.
Musically, too, like the tempo picks up and the instrumentation gets more layered, really adding to that intensity.
Yeah, brilliant use of those musical elements to enhance the emotional impact.
Totally.
So speaking of different approaches, we've got Bound by Love, and I Promise You, both offering that female perspective on love that endures, resilient love. What do you think? Do these reflect like societal expectations of women in love, or are they offering something different?
Ooh, good question. So Bound by Love immediately caught my attention because it uses such powerful imagery. Fire, storms, shadows, all emphasizing like the depth and intensity of her feelings. That chorus, I'm bound by love, it's all I've known, a force too strong, a world I've grown, is really something. It's like she's saying love isn't just a choice, it's this all-consuming force.
Yeah, and musically, the driving beat and strong vocals in the chorus really reinforce that, that sense of agency. It's like she's not passive in love at all. She's owning it.
Exactly. And then you have I Promise You, which feels like a different kind of strength.
Yeah.
More about offering comfort and support, unwavering. She promises the skies endless nights, her hands to hold, her voice to speak when silence hurts.
Wow.
It's almost like a sacred vow.
Right. And the repetition of I promise you throughout the song, it's like this mantra underlining her commitment. But it's not just about the other person, right? Like true strength comes from vulnerability and empathy, being there for someone you love.
Absolutely. And I'm noticing like the lyrical styles are so distinct. Bound by Love has that classic ballad structure and poetic language, while I Promise You feels so contemporary and conversational. Like she's speaking directly to her beloved.
Definitely. And then there's Only for You. And this one, it just throws tradition out the window. All lowercase, long flowing lines, no typical verse-chorus structure. This is where that stream of consciousness idea comes in. Pure, unfiltered emotion just flowing out.
Yeah. It's like we're right there in the songwriter's mind experiencing those thoughts and feelings as they happen. And what's interesting is there's this thread of faith and surrender running through it. adds another layer to the whole exploration of love, like a devotion beyond the earthly realm.
Right. It's not just romantic love, it's deeper, a surrender to something bigger, maybe even losing yourself in something greater.
Hmm. So we've seen enduring commitment, unwavering strength, but now we're shifting gears into heartbreak territory. Echoes of Us and Falling Like Leaves are next, and they both seem to capture that lingering pain of lost love and how memory can be so haunting.
Yeah, what strikes me is how both these songs use imagery of driving and journeying. Like the speaker is trying to physically escape the past, but those memories, they keep popping up like echoes, or those leaves that hang on even after all the others have fallen.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. In Echoes of Us, there's that line, passing by the street where we first kissed, now just an empty space, a memory I can't resist. Trying to move on, but constantly being pulled back.
And the echoes in this song, they're not just about memories, right? There's regret in there, self-reproach. Like the speaker might be blaming themselves for how things ended. Your laughter's in the echoes, I'm haunted by regret. What do you think?
I hadn't thought of it that way, but yeah, you're right. Adds a whole other layer to it.
Yeah.
And Falling Like Leaves, it uses that beautiful seasonal imagery to capture how love can fade over time. The colors of our love once lit the skies, now they fade to gray beneath my cries. Love's fragility.
Yeah, and musically, that descending melody in the verses, it's like mirroring the falling leaves, emphasizing that sense of loss and decline. Just a subtle thing, but it adds so much depth to the emotion.
It's amazing how music can work on so many levels like that to convey emotion.
Absolutely. Okay, ready for more. Fleeting Breath and The Colors of Our Love are up next, also dealing with heartbreak. But I'm curious to see what new perspective they might offer.
So we're still in heartbreak territory with these next two, Fleeting Breath and The Colors of Our Love. But I feel like there's maybe a slight shift in perspective, like focusing more on how love, even though it's ended, its impact lingers, that ephemeral nature of it.
Yeah, you're definitely picking up on something there. Fleeting breath just lays it out there. Love is a breath. Precious, right? But temporary. Like, listen to this. Like a fleeting breath, you're here, then gone. A fragile note in life's short song. Acknowledging the pain, but also recognizing the beauty of what was.
And musically, there's a lot of space in the song, silence adds to that sense of emptiness, loss. Subtle, but effective.
Totally. And The Colors of Our Love, same idea, but using that fading color metaphor. Like, it was vibrant and all-consuming, but now the colors have faded. Just a bittersweet memory. But there's a line that gets me every time, but I'd paint it all again, even through the pain. What do you make of that?
Well, I think it speaks to how complex love and memory are, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
even though it ended, even though it hurt, the speaker wouldn't erase it because the joy was worth it. That's powerful, love's impact.
Absolutely. It's about embracing it all, the good and the bad, the joy and the sorrow. And that kind of acceptance, it leads us right into Forever in My Arms. This one goes deep into the presence of memory, even when there's loss. What are your first impressions?
It's so personal, so poignant. It's like wrestling with the loss of someone you love, but their presence, still so strong. That imagery of shadows and light really got to me. Your shadow lingers, it lights my way through every storm, through every day. I mean, what's going on there? What's the songwriter saying?
It's so powerful, right? The shadow, maybe it's the absence, the void, but it's also light. Guiding through tough times, even in death, that presence can offer comfort, direction.
I love that. Like, even though someone is physically gone, their love, their influence can still light the way. And the chorus just hits you. Forever in my arms you'll stay, through the dark you'll guide my way.
Enduring connection. So beautiful, so comforting.
And musically, it's this simple melody, repetitive, almost like a lullaby. That simplicity creates intimacy, peace, a contrast to the intensity of the words, right? Like the music itself is offering solace.
Yeah. Okay, ready for a little shift in mood. Where the Sky Meets the Soul is next. Just the title gives me this sense of peace, tranquility. Feels different from the rawness of the last few. Agreed, definitely a shift. It's about finding solace, healing after loss. The imagery, sky, and soul, so powerful. Sky, vastness, freedom, connection to something bigger than ourselves, and soul, our essence, The songwriter's pointing to a place where those two meet.
I like that. And there's this theme of finding peace in stillness, in silence. In the quiet, I can hear the echoes of a world so near. And later, where the sky meets the soul and the stars take their role, I will find you in the still, in the silence, in the thrill. It's like retreating from the chaos of grief, going inward to connect, finding peace within, even amidst loss.
It is. Beautiful observation. And the music. Key role here. Slower tempo, more contemplative, sparse instrumentation. It lets you breathe, reflect.
Yeah. Well, we're getting close to the end of our lyrical journey. I think it's fitting that we wrap up with Winter's Embrace and Without You. Back to that rawness of loss, that emptiness.
Winter's Embrace, it's all about the imagery. Winter is a metaphor for grief. In the quiet of the snow where the frozen rivers flow, cold, desolate.
Enveloped by the coldness. Surrendering to it almost. Part of grieving, maybe. In this line, winter wraps its arms so tight, a fleeting dance of shadowed light. So evocative, embraced and isolated at the same time.
The contrast, right. Comforting and suffocating, loss is complex, and the music reflects that. Minor key, that descending melody, just emphasizes that melancholy.
Definitely. We talked about memory, how it can be comforting or painful, but Without You, this one highlights just the stark reality of absence, the void.
Absolutely. Just straight up heartbreak. The world feels incomplete. Music's lost its harmony. Emptiness that can't be filled.
That line, Without You, the stars don't sing, the world has lost its gentle string, hits hard. Everything's off when you've lost someone you love.
Beautiful metaphor for how connected everything is. Losing one person disrupts the whole universe. And the music, it reflects that disruption. Fragmented melody, dissonant, creates unease, longing.
It's really remarkable how music can mirror human emotion like that. Going through these lyrics, I'm struck by memory, how it shapes our experiences of love and loss.
Yeah, totally agree. It's the thread that runs through all these songs. Comforting, keeping loved ones alive in our hearts, but also painful, reminding us what's gone.
Like in Forever in My Arms, it's a beacon, a guide. But in Echoes of Us, it's haunting, holding the speaker back.
And in Where the Sky Meets the Soul, it's something else entirely. It's not about clinging to the past. It's about finding peace, acceptance in the present, memory as a tool for healing, for growth, not just nostalgia or regret.
I'm also really fascinated by how these songs explore all the different facets of love. We saw the intensity, the passion in Bound by Love, the unwavering commitment in I Promise You, and that bittersweet beauty in The Colors of Our Love.
Each one unique, right? Love isn't one size fits all. It takes on so many forms, and each one is beautiful, valuable.
And I think that's one of the things that makes indie pop ballads so powerful. They explore that whole spectrum from the highs to the lows, and it feels universal and personal at the same time.
They let us know we're not alone. Everyone goes through this heartbreak, loss, the search for love and connection.
And they encourage us to be more vulnerable, more authentic, to embrace all our emotions, find beauty and meaning even in pain.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, we're at the end of our deep dive, but before we go, I want to leave you with a thought. Which of these songs really resonated with you, and why? What does it say about your own journey with love, loss, and time?
Great question. We encourage everyone to find the full versions of these songs. Really immerse yourselves. Discover something special.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into indie pop ballads.
Until next time, may your hearts be filled with music.
And we're back. Final part of our deep dive into these amazing indie pop ballads. What a journey, huh?
It has been. Really makes you think all these different takes on love, loss.
For sure. One thing that struck me going through these lyrics is how each song creates its own little world,
Right.
Like we're peeking into the songwriter's mind, feeling what they're feeling.
Yeah, like we become part of their story for a few minutes.
And those stories, the imagery is just, wow, so rich. They're masters of metaphors and similes, these songwriters.
Totally.
Painting pictures with sound.
Like in Falling Like Leaves, that comparison to autumn leaves. So simple, but so perfect for that feeling of something beautiful slipping away.
Yeah. And Fleeting Breath.
Yeah.
Love is a breath. Precious, temporary, stays with you.
For sure.
And it's not just the words, the melodies, they're so good at conveying emotion. Often melancholic, introspective, fitting with the themes of heartbreak, longing.
Absolutely.
And the harmonies, they add so much depth, richness, beauty, and sadness all at once.
Yeah, and it's like the music itself is mirroring that bittersweet feeling, of love and loss.
Totally.
Yeah.
And we can't forget about the singers. They bring so much raw emotion, vulnerability to these lyrics.
Like they're pouring their hearts out. Makes it so much more impactful.
Earlier you mentioned Winter's Embrace, how the minor key and descending melody emphasize the melancholy. Any other moments like that?
Yeah.
Where the music perfectly reflects the words.
Oh, yeah. Like in Echoes of Us, those echoing vocals, that reverb create a haunting, disorienting feeling, just like the speaker trying to escape the past.
Yeah.
And then Where the Sky Meets the Soul, the slower tempo, that open, spacious arrangement, it's all about peace, tranquility, reflecting the song's message.
Music is powerful stuff. So after spending all this time with these indie pop ballads, what do you think? Why do these songs hit people so hard, resonate so deeply?
Well, I think they give us a place to feel our feelings, all of them. Love, loss, heartbreak, hope. It's okay to feel it all, no judgment. And it reminds us we're not alone.
Yeah, and they make you look inward, examine your own heart.
They make you think about the big stuff: love, loss, meaning, purpose.
They're more than just songs. They're